Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Build. It's our great privilege to have Mrs. Nancy Craul with us today.
Thank you.
Nancy, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, it's awesome. So what brought you into the construction industry as a whole and within the Metzler Home Builders team?
Well, going back to 1999, my husband worked here at Metzler Home Builders at the time. And at that time also, Dan and Janet were working out of their house on Hilltop Road.
Okay,
And 1999 is when they moved to this current property.
gotcha.
So things were changing and the business was growing. But Janet was still doing the final cleaning of the homes. And so when Ken was working here, he knew that it sounded like she could use some help. And so I caught wind of that and offered to help. So I started helping her final clean some homes.
Okay.
An interesting tidbit is that the first house I cleaned was a homeowner in Strasburg who now just bought a house in Parkside.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's one of our repeat customers, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is fun.
So started just helping her clean, and then offered to help in the office when needed, and it just kind of took off from there. And that's how I started.
Okay. Were you in the construction or any industry like that prior, or?
The only thing was my brother-in-law had a construction business,
Okay.
and I helped in the office one day a week.
Okay, so you were semi-familiar.
Semi.
Yeah.
And Ken had always been in construction, so
Okay.
I felt like I knew somewhat
Yes.
what was going on in the business.
Yes. Yes. For
Yeah.
those who would have built with Metzler's previously, Ken Craul is your husband.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Very good. So, what's a favorite memory that you have at Metzler's?
So I feel like probably at the top of the list would be our 70th anniversary open
Yes.
house that we did.
Yep.
And I think that's been mentioned before, but that was a really, really cool time. It was when our property had just been recently renovated. We opened the design center here. And then we just had a celebration, and it was a party to bring all our subs over and suppliers and get to talk to them, meet them, have great food with them. So
Yep.
it was a really fun day.
It was a great day for
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Dreaming a little bit here, if you could build a house anywhere in the world and there wouldn't be any restrictions on budget or location, timing, anything like that,
Yeah.
where does your dream end up?
My dream would be on the beach in Sarasota, Florida,
Okay.
or Anna Maria Island, both places we love to go to.
Yep.
So it would definitely be a beach house. Wouldn't have to be real big, but just lots of windows, open, airy feel,
Yep.
a pool in the back,
Okay.
on the beach.
On the beach.
Yeah.
That's the critical part
That's
right
the critical
there.
part. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And
We
you
love
guys,
Florida.
I was going
We
to say
just love it.
you go down there
We
fairly
go down there
often.
a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you're familiar with
Yeah.
it, kind of like a second home.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. What is a item on your desk that you couldn't live without at this point? You couldn't do your job without this one item.
I feel like this is a common one for most people, but my computer, I rely a lot on the computer.
Yep.
And the times the Wi-Fi goes out or we lose power, which we do,
That's true.
I'm kind of stuck for a while, so computer. But my Stanley water bottle is a close second.
Yes.
That's always on my desk,
Yep.
whether that's a tool or not, but it's
100%.
with me.
Yes. Yes. No,
Gets me
that's
through my
great.
day.
Yep. What would be a superpower that you could choose to have within life here?
So I think I would choose, I just don't enjoy the whole meal planning, grocery shopping, getting home from work and having to cook dinner.
Yep.
Just don't enjoy it.
Yep.
So I would love if I could be driving home and I could think about what I want for dinner, and I get home and it is on the table and ready.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that one. I think my wife would want that one as well.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Is there any in particular food that is like your favorite?
Love seafood.
Seafood? Okay. Yep.
And
Makes sense
don't
at the beach.
make it a lot because it's just a little trickier cooking some of that.
Or a little bit more inland to
right.
get fresh.
Right.
Yep.
A good steak. We love to grill out in the summer.
Okay.
So,
yep.
yeah.
So
and Ken does do the grilling, so
give credit to Ken.
give credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
But yeah, seafood's probably my go-to.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
So as you're driving down to Florida or up to a cabin or something like that, you guys are stopping at a gas station. What would be your go-to drink and go-to snack?
Go-to drink is a given is Diet Coke.
Okay.
Caffeine-free Diet Coke, depending on the time of the day.
Okay.
And then it's actually pretty boring, but probably pretzels.
Okay.
I just like pretzels.
Yeah. Any in
pretzels.
particular or just?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Just pretzels.
Soft pretzels I actually really, really love, but
Okay.
don't get those at a gas station.
Not from a gas
No.
station? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you could exchange jobs with one person for a week, you would take their job, and it could be any person in the world, whether locally or internationally. What job would you want to take?
So I think this would be really, really fun. Don't know if I'd be good at it, but I'd love to trade places with Taryn Hatcher,
Okay.
which I don't know if you know who
I do
Taryn
not.
Hatcher is.
No, I'm sorry.
So she works with the Phillies,
Okay.
and she's like the announcer who is perched down at the end of the dugout.
Okay.
And so the announcers will talk to her from time to time, and
Yes.
she'll give feedback. But she's in the Phillies dugout.
Yep.
So if I could do that for a week and be down there and be that close to the field and the players in the game, that would be awesome.
That is great.
Yeah.
Does she interact with the players directly, or is it?
She does some.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Very
I'm
cool.
not sure she would give that up to come here and do my
Well,
job.
you
but
never know.
No.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like that one. You did mention a little bit of your favorite food with seafood. Is there kind of like a go-to, hey, this is kind of our default family meal that we have?
We started something a number of years ago. We call it Second Wednesday Dinner,
Okay.
where all the kids and grandkids come over. It started out, we did it on Second Wednesdays.
Sure.
But schedules are changing with grandkids and they're involved in more activities, whatnot.
Yes.
So we just pick it. We're intentional about having the family over at least once a month.
Okay.
We still call it Second Wednesday Dinner. It could be third Friday. It
Yeah.
could be first Monday.
Not a dedicated day
but
anymore.
when we talk Second Wednesday Dinner, we know what that is.
Okay.
So, we try to mix it up what we have. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I know you mentioned the person that you wanted to trade jobs with for a week was one of the Philly announcers. I assume that is your favorite sports team.
That is my favorite sports
Okay.
team by far. Yes.
And was that from
Yes.
childhood, or is that a more recent?
No, it's from childhood.
Okay.
I remember at around age 12 starting to really
Oh,
watch
wow.
them. My dad was a huge Phillies fan.
Okay.
Had partial season tickets with a friend.
Nice.
So we got to go to games fairly often.
Yep. Yep.
And I've just never lost my love for the Phillies.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're usually the one that is celebrating
Yeah,
different
exactly.
Philly achievements. Yeah.
We're talking with Dan in the office.
Yes.
Philly sports.
Fill
Yeah.
that cup for him.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
What type of hobbies do you enjoy?
So I love reading.
Okay.
I've always loved reading.
Any books in particular kind of books, or just varies?
I love historical fiction.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I really, really do. But yeah, I'll read anything.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's what my go-to.
And your favorite author?
Oh boy, Kristen Hanna is one
Okay.
of my favorites, and she's done some great historical fiction
Yep.
novels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I like Nicholas Sparks and just variety.
Some of the other novel
Yeah.
writers?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, and I like traveling. Love to travel. Watching Philly sports. Yeah.
That's great.
So just relaxing on the patio,
Yeah.
being with the family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the Philly sports there. Is it all Philadelphia teams or is it primarily the Phillies?
Phillies and Eagles.
Okay.
Love the
both-
Eagles too. Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else that you want to share with us here today?
Yeah, so I have a little story. I feel like my experience with Metzler Home Builders is a little different than maybe the rest of the employees here. So I started here in 1999, worked for about 10 years, and loved my job, loved my employer and coworkers. But the recession hit and it was really, really slow.
Yep.
Ken was still working here at that time too. So we were both employed by Metzler Home Builders.
Okay.
We felt like it was a really good company and they would survive the recession, but just started to wonder if it was a wise thing that we both worked at the same place
Sure.
when times were like they were.
Yep.
So I actually left.
Ken stayed.
Ken stayed.
Okay.
Yes. And I left and had another job for 5 years.
Okay.
But really, really missed, the people I worked with here and
Yep.
the flexibility and
Talking Philly sports with
exactly,
Dan.
yes.
Yep.
So after about 5 years, I knew that business was doing well again. I'd see their signs everywhere when I was driving. And I knew they had not really rehired my position.
Okay.
And I heard that Janet was kind of scrambling and it was
Yep.
very busy. Jordan was in the business now at that point. He had not
gotcha.
been there when I left, but he was now in the business as well. So on a whim, I called one day and I was like, so any chance you take me back? And they took me back in a heartbeat.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome. And I walked in and it was like I'd never left.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Slid right back into my job and have been here 10 years again.
Really? It's
yeah,
another 10 years.
it's another
Wow,
10 years.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I'm just very grateful
Yeah.
to be here. It feels like family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just different than the more corporate job I had been in.
Yep.
I just love the small business and the family feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And from my perspective, you are very good at what you do. I mean,
Thank you.
the amount of people you remember, the jobs, the way that you can recall different aspects of different projects, but then also the relational side where when people come in, you're the face of Metzler's with
Right, they're at the
their
front door.
initial interaction with
Yeah.
us. And yeah, you do a wonderful job.
Yeah,
So,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been great working with you, and
Yeah,
hopefully we
thanks.
have years and years
I
to
know.
come, right?
Yeah. Well, we're on the countdown to retirement. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
well,
Yeah.
awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
And join us again next time for another episode of Behind the Build. The end. Awesome. Thanks, Nancy.
Okay, yeah, you bet.